So I want to show you how to create an animated GIF in Photoshop. And basically an animated GIF turns a floating layer, so in other words like a PNG file or a Photoshop layer itself, into a movable object. So to be able to create this, we're going to first of all need to actually come up to Windows and then come down to Timeline to actually push on the kind of the animated element here. So we're going to see it now. What is a GIF? Let's have a quick look. So this is one of the kind of the first easy things to do as far as GIF, to actually just control it. And basically what we're going to do is just press play for a minute and you'll see what it's kind of doing. It's just swinging from left to right in a designated time and everything else with it. And that's what we're going to kind of create for you. So it's not difficult to do, just a little bit kind of methodical. So this is the image first of all, and what I'm going to do is just grab the crop tool and just extend out the sides for now. We can always come back in and recrop this in, but just so we're not going to crop off any of the sign. Once I've done that, I'm going to click onto here in a minute the create frame animation, but before I do that, I like to actually work on all the actual arty side of things up on the layers palette. So remember what we're doing here, we're technically only going to be using the layers palette. So let's just drag that out so you can see what we're doing. And I want to duplicate this layer, so remember Control J or dragging it down to the plus sign, and that duplicates it. So first of all, let's work on the sign swinging from the middle towards the left hand side, and then we'll bring it back to the middle, and then we'll push it out to the right hand side again. Okay, so technically we've got the one here. Now we just need to go into Control T, which is the transformation, and all we're going to do is look for the little rotation the corner when we kind of come down to one of the edges. So all I'm going to do here is actually rotate it just a little bit, as you can see, then grab in the middle of the document and start to actually push the sign, kind of swing string just out of the shot. So once we've done that one, we'll double click it to say yes. Then what we're going to do is do the same thing again, so Control J now, Control T to transform. Once more, move that a little bit more out towards the side. Now you can see already, in fact, we're just beginning to run out of the space over on the left hand side, so we're going to extend that out again in a minute, but let's finish what we're doing first. We don't need to worry about the cropping now. So let's just bring that in for a second. We'll just crop out, as I said, and then we'll just move this back again, pressing V to select the move tool, and then as long as I've got the auto select layer on, it's going to select that layer no matter what. Okay, so there's our first three. Now we want to go back to the background layer, so I just clicked on it as well. Remember, my auto select layer is selected here, so that selects the first layer, and I'm going to press Control J again, but this time I'm going to drag this one below. Okay, so if you wanted to rename these, obviously you just actually click into them. I'm going to just do layer 1, we'll just go below, yeah, or right. Let's do right 1, is it? So as if it's swinging right. And then once more Control T, rotating it again, and it doesn't have to be in the same kind of way that we did the others. And then same again, Control J, and then obviously we'll just drag this one here to the bottom, so it's just swinging behind so we can physically see it. And then in the same way, we're just going to call this right 2. Control T, select that, Control T again, rotate it round, push it up towards the top there. There we go, pretty cool. So I mean, there's a little couple of things here. If we kind of zoom in close, you can see all the string is kind of missing and so on with it. We can actually just go in and kind of correct those if that's what we wanted to, but I just want to show you a quick kind of GIF. So crop in first. Let's see if we can extend this down to show the bottom. Now you can see, because we cropped out, we've brought the information back again, because it was a layer. Once we crop into an image though, okay, so if I did that same thing and I cropped, and let's say I wanted to go square, so I click onto 1 to 1, So what I'd recommend you to do here is make sure you've got the deleted crop pixels switched off. So by doing that, when we click it, it means that if I still want the information back later on, I can drag this in and you can see I haven't actually cropped the pixels off. Let me show you the difference there. So if I clicked again crop, selected the deleted crop pixels now, it means that when I go to bring that back in, it's now cropped it out. So that's just a bit of a tip specifically for this kind of thing, is make sure if you are going to crop, make sure you don't delete the pixels itself. Right, so we're pretty much done. So what we need to do now is actually create our animation. So I'm going to start off with everything switched off except for the top layer. Okay, now I'm going to click down here onto the timeline. Remember, that's what we needed to show before. If you haven't got it up already, it's Windows and just click on timeline. Then all we're going to do is click onto it, and you can see already it starts to actually look a little bit different down here, and it's created a little bit of a kind of the first showing sign there. And straight away I'm going to click onto the time, and I'm going to actually do this to 0.2 seconds. And once that's done now, it's going to put that slight delay when we show all the others 0.2 between each other. So with this selected, I'm now going to just click on the little plus button, and that duplicates it. Now on the layers palette, switch off the top layer that was, and switch on the next layer down, and then all you've got to do is repeat that process. So as you can see, I'm duplicating, then switching off the layer that we just duplicated, as it were, and then switching on the one below. And once that's done, of course, we can then actually start to actually go into reverse. A GIF will actually allow itself to kind of run back and forth, so it doesn't actually end. So I could pretty much stop soon, as long as I've got a beginning and an end. But if you can see here, the end of this swing, if I just press play, it starts right, but then clicks straight back to the left-hand side. So at least I need to get the beginning back to the upswing, as it were. So let's do it again. Switch off this one, go back again, switch off this one. So you've got to start, or end I should say, where you begun, otherwise you're going to have that little bit of kind of glitch effect. So we just press the play now, you can see straight away it's swinging back and forth and just resets itself at the end and then begins again and again. Okay, so that's the artwork done, as it were. Now we need the export. Obviously, I definitely encourage you to save it before you do anything else, because if you've done that little bit of work. So just save as, and we'll just do it pink. So you can see it's classed as a PSD now because it's multiple layers. Going to just press OK. That means if you want to go back to it and change it or create the crop version, we can do that as well. Now I'm just going to go and export. So File, Export, and we're going to Save for Web. So when it starts to bring it in, depends on the file size that you've created. It's basically going to look too big in the frame, like you could see here, so we can't really see anything. So you'll just need to come down to the percentage here and adjust it to what is the best for you. So I think this will be about 35% when I did it before. Clicking onto that, and it fits all in frame. It might need a little bit less. Let's play it first of all and just see what it's going to like. Okay, so it needs less again, agreed. So let's change this to 30%. Pressing play. I'm still losing the edges, of course, yeah. There we go, we're at 25%. And once we've got there, we can just save it. So we just go into save, and you can see here some that we've made before. So if we just go to open soon, one landscape, just press in save, and very quickly then, if I just go and get that from my week 11, and there's our little sign. and that's how we create a GIF. Now remember, what you're seeing as white does not exist. It basically will show through what is the color or pictures behind and so on with it. If you're obviously going to go and work with a square, we need to work with a much smaller sign and things really. So what I would do, if you're going to work with a sign part of it, is obviously go in and basically first of all crop it down. So if, in other words, we just hit the crop tool now, whoop, hit the crop tool, go up into the square again. So let's keep it as that, making sure of course we don't delete those crop pixels, remember, and just there. Then if we just go and grab all of these signs and we just go in and we shrink them down to make sure it's going to fit within here. Let's just play it again. Notice how I did it across them all, so it's kept them all into the actual sign. That's cool. Let's do it again so I'm not going to lose those edges again. So once more, remember in CC you don't need to press the Shift key anymore to keep the same kind of perspective on there. And let's just play it again. So if I needed the square, you can see already I've got all this space below, but technically that is going to be doing the job for us. So in the same way, we would just go in and export that. Let's say you didn't want, you've made a sign, but you want to actually create a different color. Don't forget, you can just click on to the likes of the layer adjustments here. We'll just go in and add in a hue and saturation. And all we're doing now, of course, is we're just using the hue and saturation box here, and if I just move the hue, you can see it changes the color, but it just doesn't change the color on the one image because I've actually put it above all the others and not done it specifically to one of the layers. It does them all. But if I wanted it to apply just to one of the layers, drag it to the point where you want it to affect and then hit the little Alt key so it only applies to that one below. So now if we hit the play, you'll see it basically change its color as we're going through as well, and that gives you a completely different look and feel to the sign. Remember, all we're doing to export it, going up to File, Export, Save for Web, and then obviously just shrink this down to fit your document that you need. Just do a quick playthrough before you actually save it to make sure it fits, and then you're basically done. Hope you've enjoyed this film. See you on the next one.